KTM. Today we're gonna try to make it a little bit quieter. Now the idea today is I'm going to show you on one of these, or both of these very terrible drawings, terrible drawings, that what we're going to have when we pull this pipe apart is what's called a baffle that travels through that section with lots of tiny little holes in it, probably about 1 million of them. And out here we'll have what's called packing, which is like a foam type of, I guess, something to absorb the noise. What I'm suspecting has happened, being a two-stroke, all these holes are going to be blocked up with oil. All this packing is going to be, I guess, solidified with oil. It's probably going to be pretty messy. And even if it's not, I reckon these holes will at least be blocked up. So what we'll be getting is our exhaust gas and all the noise with it traveling straight through and out the end, making a lot of noise instead of escaping out of these holes and being absorbed by this packing. What I propose to do today is to change the baffle configuration so that it actually comes up to there, like that. I'm going to try it without holes, and I'm just going to put one hole in here, and then we're going to have a second baffle that comes all the way back to this end with one hole in here. Now, I am going to try holes afterwards, millions of holes like the other one has, because that's a good idea, obviously it works. But what this is going to do is force our exhaust gas up that baffle, out of this hole, and the only place it can go to get out of here is through all of our packing, which is out and around here, before it goes into that hole through this baffle and out the end. In theory it works, in practice may not. The exciting part is these parts here, the baffles, are going to be an old curtain rod, and this packing in the middle is going to be an old scourer. See how we go. Now, naturally, being a bloke, when you pull the exhaust off something, you got to see what it sounds like with no exhaust on it. I live right by a noisy highway, so if my neighbours care, then they should have probably moved out a long time ago. This will show that it was actually making a difference. That's a bit wild. But it was actually working. Let's see if we can get it to do a better job than what it was doing. So here we go, pretty much what I expected to see in there. Greasy, dirty old baffle with burnt old, not very good packing. Looks like bloody Chewbacca was chewed up in there. So yeah, we'll give that a clean out and see if our little plan's gonna work. Stainless steel curtain rod, literally found it in the shed when I was cleaning it out. And as I thought when I saw it, actually matches the diameter of our existing baffle perfectly. So what I've recently discovered is, thankfully before I just went ahead and multi-tooled the crap out of that thing off there, is that these bolts are what hold the whole damn thing together. Cool, not a deal breaker. We're going to use the same principle. We're going to leave the crusty old baffle there to keep doing its job to hold everything together. We're just going to cut the ends out of it to run our stainless steel pipes out of it. Hopefully we've got enough room inside that chamber for all 3 baffles. It's going to work. Multi-tool. Safeties. Ear mufflers with no spiders. Yeah. Let's go. Bit me on the thumb. Lucky I wasn't using a grinder, eh? So we've cut a chunk out of the top, chunk out of the bottom. That is going to keep our structural integrity. Sorry, probably yelling. While we run a piece of Stano out of here and a piece of Stano out of there. Just as I suspected, our pipe's not going to fit back over this, is it? Multi-grips. Squash. Now we're talking. Safe to say, same thing's got to happen here too. Squash. Okay, now that looks like it might nearly all fit inside. How good is that? Woo! Okay, now what I need to do is make that fit inside there a little better than that. And that fit inside there. Okay. Might just mark that while it's still in there. What we're going to do is close this up a little. So she wants a slot down the top and she wants a slot down the bottom. Okay, so you see my mark there, basically on top, doesn't matter because it can roll around a little bit. We're going to put a slot there and close this curtain right up so it shoves right in there. Down the guts, okay? Try not to cut myself again. Squash one in, roll the other one over. So as you can see, that's maybe going to fit down the tube. With a little bit of help, it certainly will. Got a little wedge out of there. Now, topping the top. Alright, now that more or less, all fits inside. It's not the exact design I wanted. I wanted to get rid of that center baffle altogether, but that's what holds this thing together, and I don't feel like welding stuff. So we adapt and overcome. That's what we do. And because of the adapting and overcoming we've had to do, I've decided to reuse some of the old muffler packing. As you can see, that's wrecked. But this stuff here is still nice and soft, so I might just repack it with the old stuff. I don't think our little scourer plan is going to work with this one. Might need just little fluffy bits, stuff them down around the pipe, not down the pipe. It'd be bad if we stuffed it down the pipe. It's a tight fit, but it'll go. Okay, now let's just have a bit of a look at what you just saw me doing there in the time lapse. This is the inside of our pipe. I've actually used the old packing. That's going underneath the outlet. That there that you can see on top, that is actually the pipe that runs from here. So our exhaust gas is going to come straight out here and puff through that. It's not going to be allowed out here though till such time as it does its journey through all our packing, which we've lightly packed in. You can see I've just tapped it in with the screwdriver and not really packed it too tight. I don't want to suffocate this bike. I realise we're going to get some restriction for this, but this whole exercise is just so that me young fella can learn on a race bike. Basically, all the purists on the forum say that's why they sound like that, because they're a race bike, and it's fairly obvious they are. But I guess the only thing left to do is to put the cap back on this cap. So that's gonna then separate this chamber from this chamber and make a journey through all of the packing we've just put in. It's probably a good idea to probably wear boots in case of that, and also wear gloves, because there's a high chance that this has got a lot of fiberglass in it and you can cut yourself on it. But I was just being very careful. And you might be interested to see what didn't fit back in. There's obviously a lot less room for packing inside that exhaust system now that we've got 3 baffles in there. So it'll be interesting to see if we've actually deadened any sound or just made a race bike make less power and same amount of noise. Kick the goal. That is so much quieter. Sounds like a kitchen. Yep, it did good. I suppose now we're just going to see how long it lasts. I mean, there's every chance that because we've only got 2 openings and not 6 million little ones, we're probably gonna gum up with oil, but that's all right. We'll deal with that when it happens. And for now, my little boy can learn to ride that in the yard without upsetting the neighbours too much. So there's that. Success. Like, follow, share, do all that stuff for us. I'll teach you how to do some other interesting, probably useless stuff. And yeah, stuff that you can do yourself.